Welcome back to the IBJJF podcast. I've got Samir Chantre with me today, and we're going to talk about the IBJJF Absolute Grand Prix and Jiu-Jitsu CON. The Grand Prix was an incredible event, took place last Friday, September 1st. Nicholas Marigali came away with the title and $40,000. And we talked a lot, Samir, leading up to it, about a potential Nicholas Marigali-Victor Hugo match. We got that match. The storyline heading into it was incredible, too. What were your overall thoughts on the Grand Prix as an event?
I loved it. It was a great event. Overall, it was a great. The event was nice. The setup was super cool. The fighters, man, it was nice that to see that they gave it all. And this is something that we always want to see. I didn't see one boring fight. All the fighters really, including super fights and GP. You could see all the fighters they really want. I think. I think they understood uh, the goal, for the tournament, for the GP, for the super fights. I think they understood what we're doing here. IBJJF is getting out of their way to do something different, to do something more, to give more back to our community. To give more back to the professionalism of jiu-jitsu. And but in the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money it's on the line or how much money the companies invest for this kind of event. If fighters go there and do boring fights, if fighters go there and don't really put the show, it probably won't happen again. But I think the fighters understood, like, hey, we are the ones who make the show happen. Like, we're the ones that can make this the best event ever, or can make this the worst event ever. And man, I'm super glad none of the fighters disappointed. They all went there with a big heart and fought, like, really, like, they, they gave everything they had.
Yeah.
And not disappointed at all. Like, the event was amazing. The fighters did really good job. I'm super excited to what's come, what's next, for sure.
Yeah, it was an incredible event. Like you said, almost everyone I talked to after the event said that every match was great. They were all exciting. There were 6 submissions out of 12 matches, so a pretty high submission rate, especially
Yeah.
with that caliber of athletes. Plus, the matches that didn't end in submission were also very, very exciting. So let's talk about Nicholas Marigali. He came into the event. A lot of people thought he was going to come away with the title. Had 2 submission victories in his first 2 matches. First, he submitted Francisco Lowe with pressure, like a smother tap, he called it. And then he submitted Gutenberg Pereira after scoring 13 points. Very impressive win. What was your take on Nicholas's first 2 matches heading into that final?
Um, it was I'll say it was impressive, but at the same time, I'll say uh, the moment that he has been leaving, it kind of like it kind of just showed, hey, he Nicholas, it's in a super high level right now. It's in a different level right now. Man, he faced Francisco Law, which is a super dynamic and good fighter. He started with a foot sweep. He started
Yeah, that was a win.
ahead. Yeah, it was good. He started ahead and a lot of movements, good movements. But at one point, the weight will make a difference too, you know. And again, man, like, when Nicholas gets on top, on his top game, his pressure, his weight distribution, his length, and of course combined with the great technique and excellent details there, it does make a lot of difference. And I think that same thing happened um, with Gutenberg. It was a fight that I was looking forward a lot to. Not only I've seen Gutenberg beating Nicolas Merigal in the past, but Gutenberg is someone that I always look forward to watch. Super good, super talented, but again, Nicholas was able to impose his game, and once he starts, it's like a snowball, man. Like,
Yeah.
once Nicholas picks the pace, once he finds his way, like, you rarely see him regressing. It's just progression behind progression and behind progression and after and after and after, you know. So it does it's like a snowball. It's just, that's what it seems like from the outside, you know, and probably from the inside too. But yeah, it just feels like it just seems like it's a snowball. It keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's like he scored is that 13, 18 points,
I think it was 13 before he got the tap.
13 points,
Yeah.
13 points. So he scored 13 points one after the other, and he was able to get a tap against this super game, super tough Gutenberg. So yeah, pretty impressive for sure.
You mentioned the snowball. I think one thing that I've noticed recently is most of his submissions have come from the back, but he also got that submission from the mount against Francisco Lowe. It seems like he's put a little bit more emphasis recently on getting to the back and getting to the mount and finishing from there.
Yeah, he's definitely looking for to get through all dominant positions. You know, he's getting he's you see that he's not even attacking as much from the bottom. He's getting more sweeps and going to the top and start going through passing positions and then hitting them out or taking the back if the opponent turns away. So he's definitely looking for performance too. He's definitely looking for going through positions, going through dominant positions, through all dominant positions, so he can get a very dominant victory. That's what I've been seeing a lot from him.
Absolutely. And then on the other side of the bracket, Victor Hugo was on an incredible run too. Submitted Orlando Montero first with that Ezekiel from the back, and then he went on to submit a world champion, Felipe Andrew, who was a very tough opponent, got him in that triangle. So talk about Victor's performance and just the storyline heading into the final, because they both had two submissions in two fights, so they set it up perfectly.
Yeah, no, I mean both of them like the same thing I said about Nicholas. I'll say about Vitor Hugo. It was pretty impressive performance, and I think his fights were even like I don't know, two of his fights were super fast, right? Both his fights were actually pretty fast. Um, it was pretty impressive the way and one from the top, the other one from the bottom. You know, like how he passed Orlando's guard and Orlando's guard, man, like again, there are weight difference there, but what he did with Orlando, I swear I was not expecting at all. Um, like it was a finals that I also guessed, and probably many other people did. The last two absolute world champions, so
Mm-hmm.
the odds were on their favors to be in the finals together. But the way that it happened, I don't think me or anyone else was expecting. Were expecting, you know, like how he was able to get a leg drag and keep pressure with that 45 seconds. He was already in really dominant position, getting the submission over Orlando, which is a super tough guy that has been living a great moment in his career.
Definitely.
Like, uh, and the result it's to be in that GP there, you know. So he did really well, and then going against going against Felipe Andrew, man. That triangle there, how he blocked that triangle. Even you can see in Felipe's face how disappointed he was. Like, I can't believe that happened to me. You know, uh, uh, it that definitely was a great move. And when Vitor, man, when Vitor set up his moves there, like it's everything just from the outside just seems super tight, you know, and he's able to get that submission over Felipe. I'm not gonna say it was an upset. I like I said, the odds were on their favors to win, but the way and how fast that submission came, I was surprised. I'll be honest. I thought the match would play out a little bit different, even though I still thought in the beginning that Vitor was going to come out with the win. I didn't think it was going to be in that fashion. So very impressed with. I was very impressed with Vitor performance. And I'll tell you one thing: if people like me and you had, we were like really had really high expectations leading up to that finals, after those two matches from each of them, I think those like that expectation like just built up so much more during the
Went through the
event, you
roof.
know?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like it's everything every spectator wanted to see, you know, like even more it created more expectation into that finals. Yeah, it was like incredible performance from Vitor Hugo as well.
I really like the point you made about Orlando and Felipe. They were both, I would say they were both probably in the best moments of their careers. Orlando was
Yeah.
undefeated this year. He had, I think, 8 fights and 7 submissions in 2023. Submitted Ronaldo Jr. at American Nationals, looked really, really good. Felipe, of course, won 3 major titles, dropped down to heavyweight. He's never looked better. So, like you said, I think their wins and how they performed in both their first 2 matches really just elevated everyone's expectations heading into the final.
Absolutely. Like I said, I was already looking forward to that matchup, but after because they just showed like, hey, we are not only the favorites here, but we're in our top today. Because some days, man, like we're just not on your best,
Yeah.
and but they showed like, hey, you're gonna see the best Vitor Hugo today, and you're gonna see the best Nicolas Miragali today. If what you wanted was or the best of us a meeting out there, that's what you're gonna see. So I think that just hyped up that match so much. Like at least in my head, I was like, and everyone that was around me, like everyone was around me. I was like, man, that match is gonna be incredible, and did not disappoint.
Yeah, it was a great match. The final was pretty tight. Nicholas ended up
Yeah.
getting the sweep, beating Victor Hugo by 2 points. I know Nicholas spoke a little bit after the match, saying that he thought it would be a little bit of a more dominant victory, but they've had close matches in the past. This match was close. What did you think about how Nicholas was able to get the victory, and were you expecting the match to be that tight?
I was expecting to be a close match, especially like I said, after both of them performance. After their performance during the tournament, I was like, man, we're gonna see the best Vitor Hugo, maybe one of the best I've ever seen. Like at Worlds, he did ridiculous. It was amazing how like he got the submission in both of his finals. It's
Yeah,
not something that we see. Maybe the last time we saw that was what
might have been Hodger Gracie.
maybe Rodolfo. I truly don't remember. Maybe Rodolfo. Maybe I don't remember Buchecha submitting finals of the probably Buchecha hit one of them, but we're talking here about legends, and then Vitor Hugo comes out and boom, boom, gets both submissions like that. Oh, not only me, everyone was like, "Whoa, that kid's, this is being Vitor Hugo's year," and uh, and then he comes into the GP and do not disappoint at all. Gets 2 submissions, I so after that I was like, okay, if anyone was thinking that Murgadi was going to have a easy way into that 40K, I think even him was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to bring my A game right now. And even that, Vitor Hugo did really good on top.
Yeah.
He did really good on top. Got you good positions. Had good attempts. Nicholas hit that beautiful lasso sweep. It's actually a sweep that I particularly like it a lot. It's definitely my one of the sweeps in my A game. He hits that sweep and then managed to stay on top. And Vitor Hugo still like with a really good guard and really good positions there. And man, like it was a match. It was a close match, but it wasn't at all a boring match. And another examples for that, it's in the super fights. Uh, there were matches like that too, close matches, but very like both of them moving, both of them trying, both of them really. I think Nicholas really wanted that dominant performance, so that made him push the pace a lot. And Victor really wanted that win, and hey, you can talk whatever you want, but it's my year. So he and man, like I'm not gonna take it away from Hugo. It's still his year is still 2023, definitely his best year of his career. His results are just very impressive, and not only results but also performance. His performance in the GP, his performance at Worlds and every other tournament, at Brasileiros, he has been on fire by both of them, and like I'd like to thank to both of them for the great show
Hmm.
that we all got to watch. It was an amazing performance for sure for both of them.
Congratulations to Nicholas. Congratulations to Victor. They played a massive part in making this GP really special. And you brought up the super fights. The super fights also added a lot of intensity and a lot of great matches to the GP. So let's start with the first one. We had Jackson Nagai taking on Natan Chuang. What was interesting about this match was that Natan was a very, very late replacement. He actually accepted this match the day before the GP. Jonathan Alves unfortunately had to drop out due to injury. Natan accepted the match, made weight, and this was a rematch. I believe it was the semi, or no, I believe maybe the quarterfinal of the 2023
Yeah.
Worlds in the lightweight division. Jackson got the win in that match. Very close. This was a really fun match. I think a lot of people were expecting Natan to play guard because his guard is so strong, but they exchanged takedowns for a good portion of the match, which was really fun. Both showed their takedown skills. Jackson ended up getting the win, but a very fun, very close match.
Yeah, no, it was a really good match. When I saw, at first I was looking forward to Jonathan Jackson, but when I saw that Nathan accepted the fight and took that super short notice, I was super happy. Why? Because I thought the match was going to drop out, was going to, well, no more matchup, and I was like, but then when he accepted it, and it was a fighter who I really enjoy watching. Like like I said, I really like his guard, and against Jackson, which is also a very versatile fighter. So I was like, man, it's definitely gonna be a good matchup. Did not disappoint. Both of them really had a really good heart. Props to Jackson, man. Like that, has been doing really good this year. Had some really good fights leading up to this event, in the other events too. Uh, in Definitely one of the nicest match I've watched all day there. For the excitement that the match brought. Like both of them really, like I really like those matches when they're really looking for it. Like you can see in their face how they're putting a lot of effort to really win. Both of them really had the will, and I think that's why that match was just so fun to watch.
Yeah, the next one we had Jen Aina take on Emily Fernandez. Jen Aina came into the match undefeated in IBJJF Grand Prix competition. She's beaten Nelly Ribeiro, Luisa Montero, and Ana Rodriguez in these matches, which is a very, very accomplished list and very impressive list of adversaries to beat. And Emily Fernandez has been on a really great run at black belt. She's only been a black belt for about a year, actually made her black belt debut at last year's Jiu-Jitsu CON 2022 against Jen Aina. Lost that match, but it was a pretty close match. Jen Aina was pretty dominant in this one. So can you comment on Jen Aina's performance, and were you expecting that type of match? Were you expecting it to be closer? Did you think Jen Aina would be that dominant?
We can uh, uh, I won't say that I was 100% sure because we never know. But based on Janaina's performance early on her black belt career and how she has been improving, every tournament seems like Janaina is doing better and better. So I was expecting Janaina to come up with a win. Maybe it was a little bit more dominant than I thought would be, but I was really expecting Janaina to show even improvements from her previous fights, and you see how she came up to that match. You could see in her eye though, like she she walked towards Emily like, I'm taking this, and early in the match, I already saw that she was the one pushing the pace. She was the one with the tempo. She was the one always trying to be ahead and try to be ahead and try to be ahead. And at one point, Emily kind of, I won't say she broke it, but she saw that it was like Janina was a lot for her in that, like, she would be able to hold on for a little bit to hold her and all, but at one point Janina was just kept going the same pace, and at one point she was growing into the match. you know
Yeah.
she like Janina really, like, I won't say she I won't I can't say she surprised me because her results speaks for itself, but I I really think she was going to show uh she was going to show us a even better Janina, but she really brought exceed expectations for sure.
Yeah, she ended up getting the submission from the mount. And I would say the last year for Janina has been extremely impressive. She won the lightweight female Grand Prix. I believe it was October 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Has had great performances in major championships. She's a two-time world silver medalist in the lightweight division. But like you said, she improves every time she gets on the mats, and it's really been cool to witness her rise the past year.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that match, that match with Fiona was a great match too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think, and I'm looking forward to watch that match again. You know, to watch that matchup again. I think they're gonna meet in the near future. And
Yeah.
as much as her, Fiona is also another amazing fighter that has been growing and growing and growing. So and Janina, like I said, every time I see her on the mat, I see her getting better and better. So I believe in the near future they're gonna face each other again. And it's gonna be another amazing match. And regardless, regardless of the result, so I'm 100% sure we're gonna have a treat for sure.
Definitely. Next up, we had Ronaldo Jr. taking on Sebastian Rodriguez, two guys who move at a ridiculously fast pace, seem like they never get tired, have endless gas tanks. Ronaldo put on a great performance. You saw some of his passing, you saw a lot of his speed. Sebastian's guard retention looked on point. Ronaldo ended up getting the win, didn't get the submission, but put on a great performance. What did you think about Ronaldo and Sebastian?
It was a great match, man. It was a great matchup. When I saw that matchup, I knew it was going to be a great match. We were able to see Ronaldo playing guard, Ronaldo on top. Sebastian's guard is really good. He's super technical. Both of them very accomplished, very accomplished. I think it was just a good matchup. You know, it was a good matchup. Ronaldo doing middle heavy now, in the same weight class as Sebastian. So I think that matchup, like we always picture like, man, Ronaldo on top is like it's like a tornado, you know, like
Yeah.
he's so good on top and moving so well. He's like a highlight reel, you know. So, but Sebastian's guard, man, Sebastian's guard is always on point. He's guard retention, he sweeps, and he keeps the pace, as you said. Like he doesn't get tired as well as Ronaldo, and a lot of times we see Ronaldo with putting a lot of movements that ends up a lot of times breaking the guard player, and then he's able to pass because the amount of movements and of course great movements that he's able to put. But Sebastian, it also keeps up with that pace, so that's why we could see that great matchup. Ronaldo a little bit more sharp, I'll say this, and that gave him the win. But both of them had an amazing performance. It was a great match to watch for sure.
Yeah, great win for Ronaldo. That was his third IBJJF Grand Prix appearance. Has had great performances. Won a super fight versus Francisco Lowe earlier this year. So continued that streak of great performances at these events. So next we had Cole Abate taking on Eduardo Dudu Granzotto. I think a lot of people were really looking forward to this one too. Both guys are making their IBJJF black belt debuts, and both guys were very highly accomplished in the colored belts. So people kind of knew their names, even though they're brand new black belts. I think they're still in the jiu-jitsu community's consciousness and people were paying attention to them. So what were your expectations for Cole and Dudu going into the match, just based on the fact that they were so highly accomplished and so relevant to the competition scene coming into it?
I'll be very, very honest. I picture that match exactly like he was. I picture that match as Dudu playing guard and Cole trying to pass. Um, but one thing, I'm not gonna lie about it. I was really impressed with Dudu's guard retentions, with
Yeah.
Dudu's guard in general. I've seen him competing before as a purple belt, as a brown belt. Um, always always watching his match and see how good he was, how good his guard was. But Man, Cole, he put a lot of good transitions, you know, and Cole maybe slightly bigger coming up to that match, putting connecting passes so well and so sharp, and his movements were just so fast and really connecting everything so well. And Dudu would be able to not only defend the majority of the passes, but replace when something a little bit more close would happen. And I was pretty impressed too on how he would stay away from Cole and then engage and Cole trying to really push the pace there, and he would bring his guard back. So it was a super technical matchup. You know, it's crazy how high level those kids are when you say it's their debut as a black belt, you know, and then you see that match, you're like, hey, you kidding me, right?
Yeah,
It just seems
exactly.
like both of them. No, the standard like is just so high with those kids, you know, like those kids are just bringing the level so high, are raising their bar so high that you see like how the match. If you watch the match, you see the amount of connections and movements and passes that that Cole was doing, and then the guard rotation, the attacks, the guards, different guards that the dude was playing. The dude will play for one side and then play to the other side and play one type of guard and the other type of guard. So it was an incredible match. It was two advantages or something. It was something. It was
Yeah.
super close like that. I believe it was like two advantage, but it's the type of match that I need two advantages like, but it was a super good match to watch. You know, so the I think the scoreboard doesn't make it justice to what the match was. You know, like if you see two advantage, sometimes you think like, oh, it's a boring match, two advantage, but not at all. It was an incredible, super, a lot of movements. Was a super fast paced match that it was so even that it was only two advantage, but there was a lot of movements in that match, a lot of great techniques in that match. A lot. It's a really good match. If anyone wants to study guard and top, that's definitely a good match to watch.
I love what you said about watching this match and just feeling like, how are these guys making their IBJJF black belt debuts? They look like veterans, like so much composure, so much technique. So my next question for you is, what do you see for the future for these guys, or even just 2024? I know Cole said he really wants to win the worlds in his first year as a black belt. I think Dudu's a guy who's capable of accomplishing amazing things his first year as a black belt too. What do you see for the future for Cole Abate and Eduardo Dudu Gran Soto?
Yeah, no, for sure. They have a bright future, not even a question, 100% sure. But one thing is, a lot of times, brown belts, even brown belts for champions, they take a little bit to get into the mix, to get into the top of their weight classes. You know, a lot of times they win. They will go to black belts and sometimes win open tournaments, sometimes win like smaller tournaments, but once they get into that funnel and get into that mix of Brazilian nationals, Europeans, Pans, worlds, they're not quite there yet. But we still have about 8 months for Dudu and Cole, and it seems like a month for those kids, or like a year for a normal human being. You know,
Absolutely.
uh, they improving so fast. So I do believe both of them will get to worlds with really good chances of winning. That doesn't mean they're gonna win. That doesn't mean like for sure gonna win. I mean, but they will have a really good chance of winning. I think as much as the current world champions in their division. You know, so I think they're gonna be in the mix. They're definitely gonna be out there, uh, and they will be a threat for every single one in the division. And I don't. I I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a win next year.
Yeah, they both train with really, really good teams, have great coaches and great training partners around them. And Cole expressed interest in competing at No Gi Worlds, so he wants to win his first world title without the gi. So hopefully we get to see him in December in Vegas competing at the No Gi Worlds. That would be incredible.
That will for sure that'll be really really great. And Cole's Nogi game is just super sharp. It's super sharp, and I think right now might be even a little bit more sharp than his gi game. But we only have 2 months for Nogi Worlds. We have 8 months for gi. So he's a little bit ahead on the Nogi. That's my opinion. If he's a little bit ahead in the Nogi, that's good because he has less time. So then you have 6 more months to to get to that level in gi. And I don't think he's gonna disappoint in any of them. I think he's gonna do really good at Nogi Worlds if he does it, and I think he's gonna be really good at Worlds if he does it too.
Can't wait to watch. So our final super fight of the night was Tynan Dalpro versus Jan Pikapau. Jan was an opponent that Tynan had never faced before. It was someone that he was excited to challenge himself against, had a bit of a different game. Jan came into it talking about his physicality and how he felt like his strength and his speed set him apart from other opponents that Tynan had faced in the past. Tynan ended up getting a triangle pretty early in the match, locked it in. Very dominant performance for Tynan. Guy Mendez talked after the match about how Tynan was working on his submissions from the bottom position heading into the match, so he was able to execute on his current training regimen. What do you think of Tynan's triangle over Pikapau?
Uh, I was super impressed. I was surprised. I'll be very honest. I was surprised. I wasn't surprised with the outcome. I truly thought Tottenham was going to be very hungry for that win. Uh, I Tainan is also somebody that makes every day count for 10. That kid improves so fast every time. Every time he competes, it seems like he's better and better. He was very hungry for that win. Uh, Pica-Pau definitely has great attributes as his physicality, his speed. Uh, but Tainan, I really think Tainan was going to come out with a win for that match. But I think I was a little bit. I think that surprised them a little bit on how fast it was and the way that it was. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like Pickup. I was going to pressure into a point where Tainan would come out with a sweep and then maybe finishing the match from the top or end the match around there on the top, either with a submission or by points. But I was really impressed on how fast that triangle came, and even the move itself, how it was how he got that the submission right away from there. So I was a little bit impressed with that. Uh, it was just a great move, great timing, and great finish. And I don't even think Pick Out was a little was expecting something like that to happen. And then once it happened, uh, Tottenham did not disappoint and lock it up and did not let that go.
So that was your IBJJF Absolute Grand Prix. Amazing event. Great super fights. Incredible GP bracket. Victor Hugo, Nicholas Marigali, Tynan, Cole, Ronaldo, Janaina, and Jackson Nagai all got victories. So it was amazing event. Any final thoughts on the GP?
Just like I said in the beginning, super happy with the event. Super happy not only with the event, but also the event itself, but also how the fighters were able to showcase a lot of great jiu-jitsu, and not only their technique, but also their will to win, their will to show, to make a good show for the public. And this is what we got. We got an amazing event, an amazing show, an amazing display of jiu-jitsu, an amazing display of will to show us a great jiu-jitsu performance from the athlete. So super happy how it came out, super happy how it turned out. Thanks job IBJJF for one more great event. Thank you to all the fighters for putting up a great show. And always remember, guys, we are fighters. We we're the one responsible to put out to really display, to really make sure those events happens. So uh, I'm sure IBJJF was super happy with the event, and it's more to come. It's more to come for the fighters, more to come for the public. So all we're only gonna win with that type of fights, with those type of performance. Super happy how it turned out. Can't wait for next one.
I think before we wrap this up, we got to talk at least for a couple minutes about Jiu-Jitsu CON, because there were almost 11,000 competitors, free seminars, amazing booths. There were so many people there. It's hard to estimate how many people came through the doors at the convention center to go to Jiu-Jitsu CON and experience all that. What stood out to you about Jiu-Jitsu CON this year, and what are you looking forward to for 2024?
All right, I'm gonna invert the question. What I'm looking for next one? A 7-day event. So that's what I'm looking for next one. And it was so many mats, so many people, so many great booths. Like for me, it was a con. It was a conference. It was a convention. I was pretty impressed on how the power of the jiu-jitsu, how we were able to, in my opinion now, it's a main event of the year. Like Geek Worlds, Adult Worlds, of course, always been the main event of the year that everyone wanted to go and be a part of, watch. But I think with the Jiu-Jitsu Con now, it became the main event where you see everyone, you meet everyone. It's the event where people go to socialize now. And I think if that was IBJJF's intention, you got it. Now it's a tournament where, because it's not only tournaments, it's the co-convention. Like we go there, like people go there to chat, people go there to socialize, to see your friends from all over the world, to see the booths, to watch the tournament, to watch teammates, to compete, to have tournaments for kids, adults, white belts, no-gi, master worlds. So we have tournaments for all levels, for all ages and everything. So if you didn't go, we had the free seminars. Like I was busy, like running around and coaching, but some of my students, they went to a few of the seminars. They were super happy about it. And yeah, I think if you didn't go this year, make plans to go next year. If it's not to compete, just go there, socialize, eat acai, hang out, like seriously, like it was such a great event just to be part of, just to be there. It's a convention. It was a convention. It was a jiu-jitsu world convention. It could be called that way, So I'm super, super happy with that event. My presence is guaranteed in that event every single year. Even if I don't, of course, I will have students, and very likely that I will be competing. But if I don't have students, or if not competing, I'm gonna go there just to meet friends, socialize, and hang out, and have some acai too.
That's a great way to end. Amazing, beautiful words. Jiu-Jitsu CON is going to be an incredible event. I think 2023 was amazing, and I think every year going forward is going to get better and better. So can't wait to see how it turns out. Thank you again, Samir, for your time. Thanks, everyone, for
All right,
listening.
thank you, Danny.
Yep, we'll see you guys soon for another episode.